Hello, today I'm going to be giving you tips on how to be a good trans ally, or how to be a good ally to trans people, whichever sounds better. This is going to be a little guide for anybody who is not trans, or anybody who is trans and who doesn't really know how to be an ally to the community themselves. So I'm going to give you like a couple of like little tips, and let's all just like live in this world together equally and like respect each other. Like number one, respect other people. No, but for real, number one is don't out anybody. Now, I feel like this goes without saying, but like don't do it. If somebody is trans, if they want to tell people, they'll tell people. It's up to them. Even somebody who is extremely out, like moi, I tell everybody that I'm trans, all the time. Everybody knows. My cats know. Other people's cats know. It's fine. But I still get uncomfortable when other people tell other people that I'm trans without me knowing. If you ask me, hey, can I tell this person that you're trans because they have a trans family member and blah, blah, blah? Yes, go ahead. But if you're just telling somebody like, oh, I have a friend who's trans, you don't need to do that. I'm not like some like fascinating science experiment for you to like trans quota. I'm not saying that I have any friends like that, but you know, people, you know, like, oh, I want a gay friend. Like, no, don't. Like, it's not like we're a thing. Just don't out us. This, long story short, don't out us. This one is very complicated. Just because there's so many words that people are not aware of that are like not really appropriate to use. Like, don't use the word transgendered. Why? Because you're making it a verb, you're making it an action. I am not transgendering, you know, I am transgender. But see, I can't just explain that in like a 5-second little clip. I need to explain it more. So with that, I made a different video about terminology that I will link here eventually when it's there. But a quick Google search, literally about trans terminology, you'll get like a glossary on like some ally websites and like GLAAD. You got this. Use the internet for your advantage. Number 3, don't talk over us. It's that simple. We absolutely need other people in the LGBT umbrella and other people who are not under that umbrella, or just anybody in society, to help us. Yes, this has happened with almost every movement. We need people who are not in our position, who are in a position of privilege, to help us get, you know, higher up so we can get equality. It's there, it exists, thank you. We have been helped a lot. Now trans people are more out there. We are finally able to speak for ourselves and be heard, which is fantastic. So when you're at an event promoting trans things, it's always great to like listen. Just like sit there and listen. Don't talk over us, because that is such an issue with a lot of events that I have seen where allies kind of just like take over and don't let other trans people talk. And they just kind of like talk over other people. And this is like people who are not trans that are like talking over it. So like, I mean, like, it's just respectful, right? Just like, come on. Like, we finally have a voice. We can finally talk about our life experiences. People are gonna listen to us slowly, but it's gonna be there. And we could finally talk. So it's okay that you just sit there and listen. And you could ask questions that relate to how to be a better ally. Or, you know, just like listen. Number 4 is don't ask questions without thinking about them first. And I'm not gonna do the don't ask questions you wouldn't want asked to you, because every time somebody's like, oh, how do you have sex? And somebody turns around and says, how would you feel like if I asked you that? You know the person, oh, I would be comfortable answering that. Like, no, let's not go there. Let's not go through that path. Instead, just like stand there. Before you ask your question, just think, am I objectifying this person? Am I seeing them as something lesser than I? Why am I asking this person this question when I wouldn't ask other people this question? Now, yeah, you might ask your friends about sex, you might talk about sex all the time, but that doesn't mean that the person that is trans that you're with is 100% comfortable with the questions that you're about to ask. Even if the person sometimes says, yeah, it's fine, you need to look at body language, because not everybody is fine. Some people just say it's okay because they don't want to be rude. I have definitely been in this position before, and I have known so many other trans people who like felt like they needed to answer your questions, so they said yes, very reluctantly, and then they kind of regretted it afterwards. So just think about your questions before you ask them. Like, these are just the basic questions, like, have you had surgery? Unless the person is actually talking about surgery and their appointments, or like anything surgery related, like, you can ask questions. Obviously, don't ask questions like, what do your genitals look like? Please. Do not ask that. Don't ask that. Also, don't ask what our real name is. I feel like that, like I've lost the number of things that I'm at. I'm not very structured, but whatever. There's no such thing as a real name. My real name is Chase. If you're talking about the name that I was born with, so like my birth name, like I'm not gonna tell you that. You know why? Because we change our name for a reason. We don't like it. We don't identify with it. So don't ask us. I know, I feel really sassy, but it's just like, that's probably like the question that I hit the most. And it's just like, please, please, please. The obsession with birth names. I made a video about this, link it right there. I also made a video about the obsession with asking questions about surgery. I put it right over here. So if you are an ally or an ally in training, please take a look at these two videos because I just talk about why people are so obsessed with these two concepts of our lives and our like identity in our bodies. Very interesting. Just before you ask these questions, am I objectifying this person? Number 5, sure. Recognize the need for gender-neutral bathrooms. Now, if you are an ally in training, and you don't really know about all of these things in the trans community, you just want to get educated, fantastic. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for being a decent human being. Now, that being said, a lot of people don't recognize the need for gender-neutral bathrooms, even in the trans community, because they think, oh, trans people transition. Obviously, you're going to transition, you're going to look male, you're going to go in the male bathroom. It makes sense. Not everybody in the community transitions, and not everybody is trans. People are non-binary, genderqueer, gender fluid. Some people are androgynous and like to be in that middle section of gender, yes. So the need for gender-neutral bathrooms is not just for them, but it's also for people who are not comfortable being in a bathroom with a bunch of other people. So recognizing that the fear and the risk of violence for these individuals who don't necessarily look like the gender of the bathroom that they're wanting to go into, so having gender-neutral bathrooms is a necessity in that case. So there are more campuses, like university campuses, that are including gender-neutral bathrooms, which is fantastic. If you're hosting an event, LGBT event, any type of event, I would recommend at least making one gender-neutral bathroom in the building, just because if you promote that, people understand, oh, you're open, that's great, it's good for you, it's good for us, it's good for everyone. Number 6. I honestly, I don't know if we're really at number 6, but we're gonna go with it. Okay, so this one is kind of part of the terminology, but I think it's so important that it needs a little section of its own. Do not ever say, oh, you were born male. Oh, you were born female. Oh, you're male-bodied. You're female-bodied. Now, there's so many things that we can go into that, but like, do you realize when you're watching this and you react, like you see the way that I talk about it, do you understand how it could be a problem? I wasn't born female. Like, yeah, I was female assigned at birth. I was born, they saw my genitals and they were like, it's a girl! And there you go, my gender and my sex was assigned and I had no choice but to abide by it. Well, gender was a little bit different because I was like, I ain't a girl though. So that's what's problematic about it, right? I was not born female. I was assigned female at birth. You could say I was always born a boy. I was born a boy, I was just assigned female at birth, and I knew I was a boy from when I was a kid. You could say that. It's a thing. A really, really, really great example of this is Janet Mock when she was on Piers Morgan. Is that his name? On his show, she was talking about her book, and he said, you were born male. And she didn't say anything because, you know, you're on TV. Then she went on Twitter, explained why it was inappropriate, went back on the show, like, not each other, that was like through Skype or something, and they talked about it, and she was just very like, you were inappropriate. I don't like that. And he refused to apologize, and he was like, yelling at her. Like, it was just, no. Don't ever say that you're for trans people if you're gonna react like that when somebody calls you out. Which brings me up to point 7, which is going to be the last major point in this. When a trans person calls you out, don't take it as an offense. I would actually take it as a compliment because the person values you enough to tell you that you're doing something wrong because they want you to improve. Yeah, sure, what you said is probably super offensive, and some people might just be like, look, don't say that, because you find it inappropriate, and you don't want other trans people to like hear it either. But this is one of the hardest things I feel for trans people, is to call other people out, because we fear that we're gonna get yelled at, we're not gonna be taken seriously, people are not gonna look at us, people are gonna look at us differently, and I think that again, the example of Janet Mock on that show. Like, he was just yelling, and she was just like super calm, like what you did was inappropriate. No! Okay, damn, boy! Okay, I'll give you a real life example just so we can get it over with. So, I mean, like, I feel like every trans person has like a bucket that they can like pick a pickle with like a, I don't know why I said pickle. I just a barrel of pickles. You can pick something and it's just, there's so many examples that you can just pick out of. Should have probably like used the hat analogy, but let's go with pickles. Alright, so this is the example that hurts me the most, so I want to explain it to you because it's important. When somebody says the T word, now I personally, I can't say this word. It will not come out of my mouth. I absolutely cannot say it. It's disgusting to me. It is the most offensive word, in my opinion, that you could call trans people. Please don't write it in the comments, just like Google it. It's there, okay? I don't want to say it. It's a very derogatory term to trans people. Really, mostly only to trans women. But, you know, we're still in the community. It's still, like, I cannot hear it just because of all the violence that's related to it. Anyways, when somebody uses this word, I just, like, my whole body, I don't even understand. I can't even explain it. It just, like, stops and it gets, like, really hot. And I just don't know what to do. So I've learned over the years to just be like, like, you have to call somebody out. And yeah, we're not gonna like scream at you, but if we scream at you, know that there's a big reason why we're screaming at you. But I wouldn't scream at somebody. I would just be like, yo, that word is like so inappropriate. Like, you are not supposed to use that word. Now, when people get called out, they usually get really defensive. Like, oh, it's okay. I have a friend who uses it. Like, that trans friend that I have uses it. Okay, that's fine. You have a friend who uses that word. And they're trans. Cool. Some people in the trans community love that word. That's fine. But it is a very inappropriate word. Like, Google it and you'll see every single post is a negative connotation. Just please don't use it. So the issue is the defensive part. If you're getting called out, you're allowed to just like originally be like we all do that when we get called out. It sucks. I've been called out many times on Tumblr and blah blah. But it's the fact that you like listen. Like, you just like, oh, and then you listen. You go, okay, good point. I'm sorry. You just have to say, I'm sorry. That's all we're looking for. And of course, a lot of people in this community say that if you're an ally, you don't need to call yourself an ally. You don't have to walk into a room and be all like, I'm an ally. I respect trans people. Give me my cookie. I'm being dramatic. I know, I'm sorry, I'm kidding. But you know that happened. I'm just saying, like, you don't need to, like, go into an, I am a trans ally. You don't need to do that. If you're an ally, just prove to us that you're an ally. Stick up for us. That I asked a bunch of people online, what is your dream ally? What is your ally that you would love to see? Most people said that an ally is somebody who is willing to fight for us. Fight for us. Yes, help us. Fight. If you hear something and it is safe to do so, call them out. Tell them what they're doing is inappropriate. Fight for us and fight with us. Other people have said that the person just needs to be accepting and see them 100% as how they identify. 100%. It's not that hard. Somebody tells you, hey, I identify as male, please use my name. Okay, I got you. It might take some time to adjust. It's normal. Don't worry. Don't make a huge deal about it if you mess up a pronoun. If you accidentally say she and you're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I binge. Okay, no, it's okay. Just be like, oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. It happens. It takes a lot of time. I know this. We know this. And then this is probably my last one, which is what I'm ending this video with. Somebody said that a dream ally, or their ally that they wish that they could have, is someone who understands that they don't understand, and probably never will either. I love that, because it's true. You won't 1000% understand what it's like to be trans if you're not trans, but you can try to put yourself in our shoes and help us fight. Anyways, so that was my very long video about how to be an ally. Hopefully it was great. A lot of people asked me to make this video. If you need anything else, maybe I can cut it down and make it shorter and just make it some point form, but I hope you have a great week, and take a look at my other videos that are related to this video for more information. Bye!